All right. It's 6:31 p.m. Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. This is a meeting of the Coventry Land Trust. The meeting has been posted in accordance with open meetings. So the first thing is to determine the quorum. So I will do a roll call and I will start going down with Rory Carmody.
Here.
Dennis Green.
Yeah.
Jack Donovan.
Yeah.
Joyce Beretta.
Here.
Linda Brennan.
Here.
Glenn Underwood here. And we are waiting for Lynn. We expect her to join us in a short time, Lynn Carlson. All right, so we do have a quorum. Evacuation instructions, John.
So you already did go on front me.
Perfect. Did everyone get a chance to review the draft minutes from the July 19th meeting? Gail had sent them out. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
It was Officer Witt, not Webb.
Okay, so you got a typo on the name there.
Yeah,
Officer
Benjamin Witt.
Benjamin Witt. All right. John, will you make sure Gail gets that for a name correction? All right. Other than that, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as printed? Moved by Dennis. Do I hear a second? Second by Rory. Any further discussion on the July 19th minutes? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Any abstentions? Okay. Going into ongoing business. Outreach avenues to encourage and organize volunteers. Any new? We did have quite a bit of discussion in the previous meetings, but do we have any new? Here comes Lynn. Get us make room over here.
Haven't heard back from the high school yet. I know they're not in session yet, so I'm hoping to be able to get them for land trust day.
Okay. Anybody else have any new updates? All right, we'll move on to Coventry Land Trust website page updates.
Yep, so I talked to Cody over in the IT department and we were just trying to coordinate with the folks up and running. They're not up there yet, but that's underway.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other than the work that we already approved to get onto the website? All right. Important calendar dates. We got one coming up pretty soon with the land trust days. Do we have anything else approaching that we want to note for 2022? Okay, good. Potential properties of interest.
Somebody reached out to me
Okay.
yesterday. It sounds like there may have been discussions in the past between the land trust and this person. But bring it forward anyway because they asked me to. Just give me one moment, I'll share the screen. So this is 120 on Bar Road. The property owner is William Mandy, and he had asked me about possibly breaking off a portion of the property, either one of the number of 2 acres, and then leaving the rest of it as open space. I told him I don't know about the possibility of actually breaking it off and doing it in sort of subdivision, just because regardless of if it's a developer or land trust, open space, what have you, it's still bound by. You wouldn't have enough frontage for any of the remaining lots. So I did talk about the possibility, much like the Kavanaugh property, if he would be interested, maybe designating a portion of the property to remain as without any sort of deed restriction. They would be able to use it to its full potential, and then doing some sort of deed restriction conservation easement for the rest of the property. He seemed open and willing to do that. He Just wanted to see it preserved.
How many
So,
acres is that?
yeah, that's,
Oh, sorry.
was my question.
So there is 15 acres there in total.
And that's, is there 3 buildings I see there?
Yes, so there, right here is where his driveway is, that's his
Circular.
personal home.
Okay,
And then there's 2 outbuildings, one's a
Outbuildings.
smaller, garage, one's more like a barn / maybe carriage house, I'm not exactly sure.
okay,
He did say that his first thought was to reach out to the Audubon Society, because he actually does abut property, I think it's this one.
Oh, on the Flat River
Right,
there.
right behind him,
Mhm.
but for one reason or another, he would rather work with the town than the Audubon Society at this time.
Where in town was it?
This is, let's see. I'm just at the beginning, you have this 117, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
So the first 5 houses, 5 lots.
Where are the power lines?
I'm not sure about.
It's
Yeah.
well before Mile Road.
yeah, the power lines are further west, aren't they? They're north, yeah. You keep sliding west to go to the power. There's the power lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's close, but not part of this property.
So does he have a second access on that back, like? Is that a right of way, that back, see how that other lot,
Right here.
right there, that strip, what's that?
Yeah, no, that's actually, oddly enough, a part of this property.
Okay,
Oh,
As far as
wow.
I can tell, there's no easement or any sort of access
that way.
of that nature.
It's kind of strange.
That's that's a weird cut, huh?
Mhm.
Well, they kept an access for another back access to the
Oh,
back of the
okay.
property, that's where they kept that, they cut those.
I see a car there.
Yeah.
Is there a gravel bank in there?
The gravel
That's out on,
banks for-
Flat River by Reed
right
Schoolhouse.
there,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's right there, it's a little back.
So yeah, I did tell him I would bring it forward, get initial thoughts and, that's the best that we can do at this time.
all right, well, that's an interesting, since it does abut Audubon and it's in an area that, we're hoping to keep.
Mhm. The
preserved.
Manzo track right by, the.
But his existing road frontage is pretty small right there.
It is conforming for the zone, you're
Right.
required to have 225 feet, he has about 240 feet. So, my thought is through sort of development, you can see here, there seems to be some sort of wetlands. This is
Mm.
obviously just overlaid on top of Google image, it's not gospel, but there is something in that vicinity. And, yeah, I don't know about the potential of any sort of major subdivision back there, but it's possible. Anything's possible if somebody wants to spend enough money.
But. And I know, and I've seen non-conforming lots with the promise of never being able to build on it has passed through here. So if he did want to split it and then in the town were to be interested in it as a preservation, as a non-conforming lot, which would never be able to be built on but it would give us the potential, of if the other property, I'm not saying I think we need to probably schedule a site walk would probably be the next action just to get a feel of that area. But that would be also an avenue. I mean, the development rights are good in that aspect too, but then that just means that, if we were trying to get to eventually tie in with other properties there, we wouldn't be able to
Right.
go through that property.
So I can make that, an avenue that I'll look into further.
Okay.
Ultimately, it would come down to, the director and whether or not
Right,
he would be open to, altering a lot such as this with inadequate frontage at that.
right.
So he's thinking of selling versus donating?
selling yet. He wanted, he made it pretty clear that he had no issues with the development rights
Mhm.
avenue versus breaking off a piece and doing it that way, but he did ask the question, well, do I still get paid? So-
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's looking to earn a little bit of money at the same time preserving, so he doesn't, future, so that's. So we can, at the next meeting, we'll set a sidewalk date. So. Probably in October or something, we'll be able to schedule a day, and the leaves will be just starting to come down this year, I think, with the drought, but so we'll put that down on the agenda for September to have a sidewalk set up.
And I'll have further discussions with the director and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, what's the ownership of the rest of the property? So you said one was Audubon and that one, yeah.
Husband's truck. Again, Caroline Hopkins Trust.
And they're sort of landlocked.
Oh, they own 3 properties.
They own all 3 of them, are all the same, okay, okay.
Stephen Hopkins. The Capaldi. Lisa Capaldi. Sharon Swartz, David Swartz.
So the one that's highlighted in yellow right now, you said that's part of the trust, the Carolina,
Correct.
Yep,
and so they've,
It's these 3 properties.
those-
lot 2.2, lot 3,
and that-
and lot 4.
okay, all right. Well, it's a big area of undeveloped
yeah.
property anyway, so it would be of interest to try and,
And then this here is about.
And Audubon's to the left. Is this one right there, yeah.
here.
And how close is that up to the school
Which school?
on Reed House?
Washington.
Yeah, doesn't it does it? I couldn't remember if Audubon tucks in there.
So the school is right.
Oh, all
here.
right, so not that close.
This
And
is
the-
actually right behind the school.
Hmm,
This is
right.
That's the one we-
That's the one we're looking at. See, that's
Yeah.
really close. That would make a big chunk of change, a big
yeah,
chunk of
that
property
whole
there.
area.
Yeah,
So, well, obviously, we would have interest, so let's
yeah,
proceed with setting on the September meeting. We'll set a site walk date for that, and then John can also reach out for the possibility of yeah, to give us some more feedback on. Any other properties of interest?
I called you about
Mhm.
Lewis Farm Road and the crossing with the greenway by the trestle, the big trestle, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's for sale, the piece of land that runs right along the greenway up to the trestle.
John, can you bring up,
Sure. Is that on the other side of Summit?
yeah, this is up towards Connecticut.
Oh,
We're gonna
way
go
up.
down, go to Lewis Farm Road, so. And Trestle Trail, Lewis Farm Road and Trestle Trail. And then go to, I think,
Share with everybody at home.
Yep.
Okay.
so
You have the-
it's either the lot, is it, Joyce, is it the one that butts Trestle Trail or the next one?
Is it which?
Which lot?
I'm not sure. It's just the one that's on the greenway. If we see the
All right,
greenway
so
there
to zoom in, John
and
goes,
up to the trestle
yeah, and it's on the left side of Lewis Farm Road,
on the
north
right
side of,
side of the greenway,
and then north side.
on
of
the left side of Lewis Farm. Well, depending
Yeah,
which
the way
direction
we're looking at it right
coming
now,
in.
the way we're looking at it right now, it's
Yeah,
that lot
yeah.
there then. What's the name on that lot?
This is Alpha and Omega Homes.
See, I don't think that was the name.
Yeah, that little tiny strip on the left would be,
The Greenway?
the
That's the
greenway,
greenway.
because it goes over that river.
Mhm.
The trestle goes over that
Yeah.
river.
See if that's the one that's for,
And how big an area is that?
And it's beside the Simpannons.
Arizona?
Marks and Pan, and it's a lot beside Marks and Pan, and that's how I found out about it.
No, I think the next lot is Marks and Pannon's lot. So if you go, click on the one just to the north of that,
Yep.
that one there, and see if that comes up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so it's that corner lot right there on the Greenway.
2.1 acres.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not
2.1.
big, it's
No,
smaller than I
it's small.
thought.
Is there a house on there?
No,
No,
So it's really only big enough for one house, right?
it could
If
be,
that,
you know,
yeah.
if it's two, but I don't know, Lewis Farm might be more than 2 acres.
Yeah, that's the 5
In
acres.
zone.
yeah, but it's already,
Oh, so
it's a
this
lot
one.
already, so you can't build on it. It's already, it's broken off. It's-
Okay.
Yeah, so in theory,
It's advertised as flat
it's
land.
small, but you could put one single thing,
Okay,
but that would be.
it would be
the
it.
most.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is it's a listed property. It's on the market. And Joyce, do you remember the price? Was it,
Pardon me?
do you remember what the asking price was?
I don't have any idea.
I've got terrible internet reception here, so I can't bring it up.
I hope I have the right one here.
That's the right
looks
one.
That's the right one?
That's the right one, yeah. Yeah, I've only got
It
one.
looks like our McGuire piece, you know,
Yeah,
being in a good spot, but small.
Well, it's got two things. It has access to the river. It's
Right.
adjacent to the Greenway. So it'd
Yes.
make another area to be part of trying to preserve in that area instead of having houses along the Greenway. So it adds a lot of.
Right,
So I'm.
and it's by Nicholas Farm,
not so
as
far
the
from
state
Yeah.
would care.
I have a property here, I don't know if it's the correct one, they're saying 2.3 acres, so that's possible. This is saying it's pending, but I don't know if I have the right.
No, you got it.
Can't get
That's the one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's pending, yep. They dropped the price, yep. So it's 139.9 was the price on Realtor.com at least. So what we can do, it's like anything with pending, they come back and forth, they don't make a deal or whatever, and we can proceed, we can reach out to the Realtor, and see what the status is and just get our name. That would be interesting. I think it would be an interesting property to walk.
Hmm,
I think it would be an interesting one to preserve too, to being next to Trestle Trail.
Yeah.
mhm.
But I also see somebody wanting to build a house there, which. All right, so we will, I'll take an action. I'll just call the Realtor just to see what the status is and then let them know if the sale doesn't proceed or whatever, that they'll have our number to call us. Okay. And the only other property that I often see, but I'm not sure where it would fit in our portfolio, but it is a big piece of property, is a 110 acre property that's has a solar farm, a little bit of a small solar farm on it off of straddles from Railroad Avenue all the way to Lewis Farm Road. In fact, if you just go
Let's see
west.
it.
Yeah, you can see the edge of the solar farm there, right
Yep.
there. So it's a substantial lot and it has a lot of frontage on the Greenway.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, I do get quite a few calls regarding this piece because people want to do something with it or to it. The same thing I tell everybody is access. That's the biggest issue. you have a stream running across this point of access on Flat River Road. There is an easement there, but it's heavily wooded and could it be used as, you know, a walking path to get to it? Possibly, but not a road. It's not wide enough for that. You wouldn't be able to traverse over this because that's the greenway. And this again wouldn't be wide enough around this buffer of the solar farm. And from what I can tell, it almost seems like that was intentional. But I don't know that for sure.
So it's a big lot. It's got, you know, it does have some wetlands with it. It has some dry lands with it. It has a lot of woodland on it. It's also got those solar panels on it, and I believe the ad on the real estate ad says that it's subject to a first right of refusal, and also that the lease with the solar company has on it goes with it. So it'd be another very complex sort of situation, because obviously, you know, you've got a lease that's already an active business operation on it. But I know a lot of people have, you know, sort of approached saying, as the land trust interest, it's probably the biggest piece of property that's out there, you know, that we'll see at least for sale.
Is this by the library?
It's
I know
across,
railroad,
yeah. So the library's portion comes down and is straight at the back property of the library, butts up against Trestle Trail right across from that.
I will also say, there was a town council meeting. I don't know the specifics of what sort of deal is or was proposed. But the town council was talking about potentially buying either the whole thing or a portion. In conjunction with some sort of agreement with the electric company. So I don't know what their latest is on that. I do know that an attorney did come to the meeting and say his piece, and just kindly remind everybody that his client does have first right of refusal on the property, as you had mentioned. So.
The one or two things, you know, we can, at least if the council's already had a little discussion on it, I'm sure we could help expedite, you know, with our funding, to help make this happen and preserve if it's worth doing. Obviously, I think there would be something that of course, we got to do a site walk as the next step. And then, you know, it seems like every sort of property we get into, it gets into these legal tangles with right of ways and other issues. So why don't we at the next meeting also see if it's still optional, available, schedule a site walk for that property too, and if the other one is still available at that point, that's off of Lewis Farm, it wouldn't take too much to go from one and then schedule like an hour later to go do the other one. So we cover the area. But so for the September meeting, we'll put on scheduling site walk of the property. I guess it's listed off of Railroad Avenue, but it does have access to Lewis Farm Road and 117.
This seems more direct to the library than Green Campground.
No, they're both adjacent. So
Yeah.
John, zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can see the Green Library property, and
Trying to get my bearings.
Oh, okay.
so slide up. Nope, the other way.
Sorry.
There we go, up. Oh, okay, if you rest for a second, it will draw in. So click the bigger lot just right there. That's the library lot. Camp Green, click Camp Green right there.
Yeah.
So there's, you know. So the library is right across from both, you know, in the area. It's sort of centralized in that, along with the Greenway.
Was the library on both sides of the greenway there?
No, the library is just the,
Well, what's number 74?
the library has two lots. One is the little,
What's that little, yeah,
that's a house.
that's just a little spot,
It's,
yeah.
Privately owned.
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like some open.
Yeah.
Yeah, the library, there's two parcels.
Right,
There's
there's the open
part
space
the
one.
Library actually sits on, and then this part the large one.
Yeah, so let's action item on that, I think would be just so we've done due diligence, take a walk. Schedule that in September if it's still available. Okay. All right, so we got a couple possibilities there. So actually, we may be scheduling up to 3 sidewalks at the next meeting. Okay, any other properties of interest that anyone has seen? Anything new on grants? I haven't seen anything statewide DEM stuff. I don't know will be on the next.
DEM people that I talked to said there will be something coming up about a year from now.
About a year, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving along. Old business updates. Leah Kavanaugh.
Yeah, so I reached out again. I haven't heard anything. There could be a couple of possible reasons, either lack of interest in the proposal, or it could be just
Summertime.
issues for on. I know she does work a lot, so maybe the time I'm sending emails or making phone calls, she's sleeping, I'm not sure. It's certainly possible, so I can keep sending emails and seeing.
Okay, I don't, it's not imminent threat to us. I don't think to not do anything. So I think just we can send her another email saying that the trust was asking. So I just would like to either move ahead or next step or take it from the agenda.
Right.
Grasset property.
With that one, so the purchase and sales draft was drawn up. The town manager is involved in working on getting the council the information that they need. So now that, the hectic nature of budget season is behind us, we're
Right.
moving forward now, so
Okay.
that's underway.
And I know George's Boxdale was,
And I did reach out
Did
to
you?
both property
Okay.
owners involved in them.
all right. So we are making a little movement. That's good news. Very good news. All right, new business and or continuing the land trust days activities. We are vastly or quickly approaching September, believe it or not.
Mhm.
I will let Dennis, because he's our champion of work and updates, to start the lead on it. Stella Hall.
The state land trust has a bus on the news, and we already have 24 potential people of interest. So first thing that popped in my mind is, if half of those show up, how would you work parking somehow? Knowing that we're gonna park in,
We said we'd park and then shuttle from Trestle Trail, that we could, our group
Yeah.
of people, we could move some cars down so we're not blocking. I mean, I think the biggest thing is to make sure that when people park, that we, don't let them do haphazard, that we might want to allocate, if we do have a couple of volunteers to help just parking in an organized way, so we don't, what usually happens, someone pulls in and then someone leaves like 6 feet or 10 feet.
right,
So we need to make sure that everyone goes to the end and parks, appropriately. So that usually requires, 2 people one to flag them in and one to
kind of guide.
guide them. Yeah. So put that as an action item or need is potential flaggers for parking. And we should have them in orange vests, so they stand out, or at least in fluorescent vests, so they stand out. And it's designated flaggers.
We use the Coventry Men's Club too. That's a good parking area.
I thought about that too, but
Yeah.
then how would you get them down to them?
Would shuttle, I mean,
Okay, no,
even if
yeah,
we
yeah.
parked all our vehicles there, that's like 5 or 6 vehicles we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, let's, how much space do we have totally, do you think? 7 or
Roughly.
8 on each side for,
That's best case.
so like 16 total max.
I could bring up the map too.
Yeah, why don't we just take, why don't we do
I
that,
mean,
John?
outside, what, 24, I don't know, do you plan for 24? Maybe, I don't know. On average, we would probably get somewhere maybe
Yeah,
12 to,
and then Phillips
18.
Hill doesn't,
It's
or,
not good street
no,
parking.
it's not good street parking.
yeah.
Yeah, none of that curve.
No, there is that land across the road from us where there's a field. And people wanted us to buy that at one time.
We should have bought it for parking.
And that would be a good parking area.
Yeah, now you tell us.
They might be interested in
Well, yeah.
working with us just for the event.
Right,
Yeah,
Well, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, you go
it's
one.
getting close, of course, to consider things like that.
Okay, so there's, yep, there's the parking.
Okay, no, right there, no,
yeah.
So.
right there. That
But
was-
No,
for reference, that was.
Like a
there was
car,
One car there, so.
parked badly.
Roughly 46 feet wide. By
Oh, that's pretty fancy, John.
100 feet. Deep.
so,
You
and,
need room for ingress and egress, but.
I think with, supervised parking, you would probably get 15 cars in there without an issue, as long as they're all lined up properly.
Mhm.
15?
Yeah, I think 8 and 7, 8 towards the road and 7 towards the woods. Again, that's the key point to that is just having people, especially when people try and back out, that they don't back into someone else's. So if we have 2 people that can be assigned to guide parking. Okay, across the way, I don't see that corner is so bad, and
Right.
obviously we don't.
It's coming and going, so
Yeah.
it's just a complete,
When you're pulling out, heading towards Coventry Center, you have to really be careful.
Yep.
Around that corner.
They're fast, yeah, they're come zipping.
see, the other 2 events, we had Lewis Farm Road, I mean, Bowen
look-
Property Department, the dirt road, and then you had the streets for, Sullivan property. you
Yeah.
know?
Do you think we could get a police officer to park just prior to the corner? Maybe that would slow people down coming towards us? Or traffic?
They would say that they couldn't dedicate an officer without, a detail, and then they're gonna want
They're gonna
someone to
want
pay,
us.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, we can definitely notify the,
Yeah.
and, we in the past have invited the police chief to our events,
Mhm.
but I think that may be something that we just want to tip them off that we are having, that maybe
Yeah.
if they can make a little bit of presence along.
just loan us a car that they can park.
That'd be worst case, you know?
Yeah,
Worst case.
But yeah, what did we have for account at the last?
we had a lot for Janice Sullivan, but then a lot of her family
family.
was there. I would say at least 10 or 12 people were her family.
And the other
members.
one we had 20.
20,
20
Yeah, Bubba Bowden, yeah.
So I'm gonna guess the same, although a lot of people, if the weather's good and, there's a lot of people wanting to get out more, and this is, I think, is a beautiful property, so,
The other 2 areas, parking wasn't a problem, I don't think. so.
Right.
no, because it was
Right.
slow areas.
Yep.
This is that corner that,
But you can't park on the road on that.
You
'Cause of
can,
the
but I
2
think
curbs.
you take your life in your
Yeah, yeah,
hands,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
all right, so I think we should make every effort that we shuttle ourselves in
Yep.
and not take any parking spaces. The other thing that we could, yeah, I think that's the best thing to do,
So where should we park? Then Trestle Trail?
Trestle Trail.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can communicate with one another to get a lift up. Someone can, we can use one car as a shuttle
Mhm.
to bring people up.
Right, what time do we want to meet in that parking lot? Because we're not having a meeting before this event, as far as I know. right? Am I looking at
You're,
calendar?
you're correct.
I am correct, okay.
Whatever time that,
Well, we're gonna start at 10, we're gonna need at least probably an hour, hour and a half to
8:30.
set up.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30 would be good. Good, good meeting time.
That's AM, right?
No, no, you stay overnight the night before.
You almost did the
Yeah.
other event. He had to wait for the porta john until
Oh, that's right.
it really gave us a run on that one.
Mhm.
Oh,
All right, so that'd be great if we can arrange, to meet there and then, unload anything that you need to unload and we can leave one person with the stuff up there and then shuttle from 8:30 on. And does everybody have everyone else's contact numbers?
No,
No,
Okay, so John, can you have Gail reach out to everyone, get their contact numbers so we can, or
She might actually have.
she might have, I know she may have, I don't know that she's got everybody, but and have her distribute that to the members here, so that way people can call other people on via their cell phone just to capture them if they're waiting for a ride or whatever.
I'll just pass this around for a quick look at it, everybody. This is what this the state land trust put out.
Thank you.
I didn't make copies because it just. I don't want to tell them. So. We'll go to the next event. All right. So can I start from the top? Task A is done. That's the journal cleanup. At this point, it looks at the end of the trail. That might not get done before the event. Okay, but everything else is pretty much picked up one way or another. The parking area is all set. We just talked about parking requirements, so that's all set. Entrance. Us three opened it up. We cut that grass area, and made it about maybe 4 foot, 5 foot wide. So you can walk from the parking lot to the entrance.
Mhm.
But there's a slight hill there, so unless you start moving the dirt, it's the best we could do.
No, that's,
you may need another touch up before.
Yeah, it's just, All right, so that, right now, a touch up would do. Kiosk, as far as I'm concerned, that's done.
Good.
okay.
I'll get some fresh literature to put inside of it. Those were dummies. I just want to see if somebody was gonna start ripping them out. Right now, it looks good, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Is there any of these things that you want to put in?
I was gonna try to have it, what have we done?
We've got Lyme disease rash. Unfortunately. it
Which
looks like
one is for that?
something- This is
What's that now? The tick, is that the ticks?
tick.
Lyme disease.
Okay, I would put that in.
And these, unfortunately, looks
Now,
like
do you have
berries
something
that
for handout?
squish. I asked, these we could
We could put on the table.
put on the table, but we
Yeah.
need to get fresh ones
Mhm.
because they ended up getting, I guess. I got them at the farmer's market. I think I got berry juice on them.
Okay, I'll put, this one I'll put up.
Okay, and then we already have this.
I have some of those I've already laminated to go in the
Okay.
kiosks.
Remember, the kiosk only has so much room.
Right. But these could go somewhere, and again, I've got berry juice on them apparently.
Those are
but-
good.
I put that on the table for people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's handy. That's already.
And they've
This I could
got
put-
holes so
this
that
I
we
would
can
try.
eventually put them on a tree or
You can
something.
put them on the kiosk too. with
Put
the
them on the
legs. Yeah,
kiosk.
I'll figure that too.
yeah.
Well, if I make 2 copies of this, I can put it like this. Like this, so where I have the map set up, I'll just replace it with this.
I think that'll scare people.
Well, I don't
I
know,
suppose just be careful.
well, then if you can get more, we'll pass them out
Pass
at
them out,
the
yeah.
table thing, I won't put them in the kiosk. if
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
concern.
pass them out of
We'll
the
take up
table.
so much
so-
space in a
Okay, then I'll
kiosk,
go
you
give
know.
this back to you, sorry.
Okay. So do you
So-
want us to get more?
I think it's a good idea if you can, as a handout.
Can you get more from
I
your
can try to get
granddaughter?
More.
Because it was her granddaughter who was giving them out, so.
Yes, you got a job,
Yeah,
get about 30.
you are right.
Yep.
She got me, a link, but you see
But
that?
if she could
It's
get,
so invasive,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's a jungle.
Wow.
Joyce,
Yeah, that
when-
came from her
if she
link.
can get 30 of those,
I'll see.
if she can,
30,
or whatever
yeah.
she can get, even 10 or 15.
Yeah. I mean,
Because people usually like handouts, something to look at and put back with them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
material-
then there's some of these emerald ash borer and spotted lanternfly. Could
if-
she
if
get
you're
more of
interested in
those?
your Door to us, whatever you can get, grab it.
Yeah, I'll see if she can get us more of those.
So, those two there too.
And I've got the other laminated sheets of the different animals you can
Yeah.
spot there. Although the biggest hit last year was the different types of animal stat.
Yeah, there you go.
Pictures of poop, that was really.
Right,
Yeah, with the kids.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and the other thing too is I had wanted to go and walk the property. My husband's been laid up, but we haven't been able to go together, but we should be able to now. He's feeling better. So if I could maybe put together just a little scavenger hunt, see
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. I may not be able to get that put together, but we'll see. So, look for the beaver dam. Is the beaver dam still there?
Last we looked, it was still,
The last time we looked.
yeah, it's still there.
Okay,
So, in fact, I even put it in the write-up, I believe.
okay,
So I hope it's still there.
right.
If not, you're gonna have to build one.
There you go.
All right, so the next item, material we can forget about. All right, the trail. Do we want to bring up about this coming Friday?
That you and I have
Yeah.
there at 9:30 and we welcome people to participate.
Yeah, because we need a little bit of trimming done too, you know what I'm saying? Like hand cutters. This is about, maybe a little handsaw.
Maybe pull saw.
Okay.
Not the electric one.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
No, it's just, more to lug around.
Mhm.
all right. So we're gonna ID this trail right here. We chose to take the yellow trail for the walk. All right, so. Here's Lynn. I'm gonna give you some more information.
okay,
We can talk after. We wanted to switch the blue to the yellow and yellow to the blue.
okay,
All right.
all right.
I might have been sleeping that night when I
Just a
marked it up.
section of the yellow to the blue.
Yeah.
Just a section.
Yeah, just a section, not the whole thing, just a section.
Okay.
I remember when I marked that up, it was like, I remember that. All right, so. All right, we're all set for the trail. So it's 9:30, this coming Friday, the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Information packet,
So 9:30. The 19th,
the 19th, Friday, this
Friday.
coming Friday.
we're gonna meet and do some trail cleanup.
Yeah, trail trimming. Jack and I are gonna mark the yellow trail. That's the one we're gonna, take to the, for our tour.
Okay,
The rest of it, we're marking at a later date.
okay.
Information packet. You got handouts at the table. I'll just do general information and make some handouts that we've done in the past, that just general information about the land trust and why we exist.
Okay,
Nothing complicated. All right, now the support events. This is the key. You're up, Rory.
Which for what?
Page.
Oh, yeah, this is where I am so far with the collection of the raffles. I've sent out an event to 20 businesses. I've gotten 5 raffle prizes so far, with promise of more. So I just is there one more? Oh, so just trying to keep track of where I'm going. But if anyone has any other ideas, please let me know. So I keep showing up, keep calling. So far, it's like I said, I thought 5 out of 20 is pretty good the first
Yeah.
week going out. So what I've been doing is bringing visiting with a letter that explains why we're here.
What you just did?
Yeah, that's the new,
Okay.
that's, John sent me the new letterhead, so I send it out. Then I was attaching the map with it, and asking people to please come, and they all say, come back later, and I'm like, I will. So I do. This was the first year, though, I got a couple of bad, people talking trash about the town, which concerned me, but we're gonna. Maybe it was, and I'm like, I'm from the town land trust, not the town of Coventry, so I skipped a couple of people told me not to bother, but so far the 20 businesses I've talked to already were okay, just let me talk to someone, so I'm feeling good that we'll get hopefully as many as last year I was able to get 8. So I'm trying to hopefully get more than that this year, so that would be good if we can get them. So far, so good.
May I ask, what kind of business, can you, for example, I know someone who's a beekeeper and might be willing to donate a jar of honey.
That would be
to
great.
apple pies. Is
That would be great.
That's allowed.
Absolutely.
Food product like that?
Yeah, honey's the perfect food.
Okay. I didn't-
Never
sometimes
goes
places
bad, yeah.
have Restrictions on that type of.
No, I think anything, because we're like, I'm hitting up the liquor stores too. Anybody who I can get in to get something. So, yeah, I just think,
Okay, Rory, just, I have a book about the start of the whole movement for yeah, I'm losing it. But anyway, it's about how they started the why am I blinking out? How they started the first Earth Day.
oh, yeah, okay.
Now, but I don't want to donate it if that's a conflict of interest. It's out of print. You can't buy it anywhere. The only way you could get it is from me. So I don't want it to be a conflict of interest or something,
I don't think it'd be a conflict of interest in any way.
you
But
know?
it'd be nice to do a write-up like this is a limited edition or currently out of print, it's.
Right,
it's-
so,
people
yeah,
see
I
the
mean,
value of it.
and I don't really sell them. I
Right.
don't, I just,
No, I think that would be, I think anything like that would be great,
Okay.
yeah, no, I think that would be terrific.
The other responses were, that's the first one.
And then I just, I'm gonna print these on heavier paper just to mark up of the raffle tickets, so people will fill those out with their name, address, phone, and email, that way we have them. And then we'll be able to keep a list of people who are interested in coming. And we'll do like a fishbowl and drop those in like last time and just hopefully, we'll get more interest like that. And every year, even after the last, I go back to all of those businesses the week or two after with a thank you letter as well. Just so it closes the circle. And people, Julina said, oh yeah, I remember you from last year. Oh, good. Can I have 2 certificates this year? So I'm getting 2.
Did you actually want the physical item present? There at the
Yeah,
time of the
yeah,
raffle?
something like that would be great because
Okay.
the people can see it.
Okay, you know if you had a place to.
No, because maybe we'll do like for a physical,
This is the entrance.
oh, that's
been all
nice.
Fixed up. That Parks and Recreation did.
They did a nice
I
job.
mean, you can't see the limbs and so forth.
Right.
and clean out the path, but
That looks
it's wide
good.
open. We just kind of passed that
Yep.
around. That's more work that got done
Yep.
with the town.
Yeah, I saw them, well,
Mhm.
step by and saw that.
No drones, I did, Mark Fisher, who came last year,
Yes.
couldn't this year because he's committed to so many things with, he's kind of high end, he's doing stuff with the NFL and stuff, but he gave me a contact, a guy named Craig Mitchell. So I spoke to him about land trusts. He sent me a copy of his license, so I had that for the town, and he's willing to do it. He said he would do a 2 to 3 minute video of the trail dedication, the trail, text, logos, titles. We'd have to provide him the logo, 4K resolution, music. He's saying they'll come in about $300 if we want to do that. So I told him we're having the meeting tonight and we would vote on that proposal. In all honesty, I have no idea. I've never seen, I've seen this guy's work on his Instagram page, and Mark said he was a good guy, so it's not like I knew Mark's work and I knew Kevin LaRose's work, but like I said, he's new and he has got a license. So I don't know if we just vote on that or what.
Let's have some open discussion at least on it. Thoughts?
I think it's good for advertising, I do.
agree.
but, the last time the guy did it, I don't know, did they ever make it on our website?
Kevin LaRose did not because he's not licensed, and Mark Fisher never got us the stuff because he just got so overwhelmed. He was,
So this time it would get on our website.
this time we would get a finished product that we'd be able to put on our website. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know the technical side of things. I assume that our website.
or they do a
can
link to like
support
YouTube like we
some
did
sort
with
of-
Kevin's, yeah.
Okay, if you can make a link.
Yeah. Because people, Kevin's is still on YouTube, so we can still direct people to the Coventry Land Trust video on YouTube.
But you would coordinate this for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, of course.
I think for advertising and marketing, I think I would say yes. That's my personal opinion. As long as you're going to coordinate.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just my opinion. I don't know what any other view.
No, I was, my technical question would be back to John, because whatever we get in this, before we have them commitment, we want to make sure that it's something that's doable with our website at the town. We don't want to commit $300 or
Right,
commit
but Roy's gonna-
10,000. So I think John's gonna look to Cody and also probably talk to the director to make sure that this is an appropriate activity. I mean, it's great for marketing purposes, because I think if you also go up a little bit in the air and see the pond and stuff,
Right.
it will really sell this as a great walking area.
But John and Roy are gonna team up,
So
correct?
I
Yeah.
would say, I would assume, I don't want to assume, but I'll just
You know
say
what that,
that.
you know what that means?
Right.
Correct. So I did talk to Cody, just today, and he was mentioning that, he is moving towards, on the back end, some sort of new website.
Okay.
Probably look much the same as what we have, but it'll be upgraded behind the scenes, so.
Mhm.
I imagine that whatever we want to do, the website will be able to support it. It should work, but I can double check with him. and see.
Yeah, if you can double check and just send back to Rory, I mean, obviously we'll in a minute, I just want to have the discussion that it's contingent that our town website where we'll be able to support the link along with it, because that's going to be big for people, you know.
You can't make the link like we mentioned earlier, you can't do that, then we don't wanna do it.
Right.
Well, I think you can always add a link like YouTube. I know that's an easy link to
Yeah.
drop into any site. So it would be nice to have our own, but we still have that ability to do. that.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
where it goes back to the town. Are we, you know,
Right.
when their regulations, are they allowing departments to put links to
Right.
YouTube videos and stuff? I mean, I'm sure the
Mhm.
town has a little IT policy, but it may be, you know, it's probably getting developed even further as we go into this world, so.
Now that I think we must, because when this guy, I asked him to look at the video, he says, well, the only thing I saw were all your meetings on YouTube. So our
Right, so
land trust
it does
meetings are on
have
YouTube
the
already.
YouTube page,
Right, so
but-
you do, that's right. Oh, so yeah, so we should be able to tie that in.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
So how will we do this vote based on contingency that it could go on the site?
Yeah, I would
mean,
say
if it
that
does,
we
then-
could, someone can make a motion to approve from our operating budget. $300.
plus
to-
tax,
plus-
just, yeah,
Well, we should be able to get tax.
tax free,
exempt.
okay,
Yeah.
Yep,
because,
okay.
Right.
The, finance department, they remind me
all the
that they
time.
will not pay it. so.
Okay,
I make that motion if that's where we're at.
All right, so we got a motion to proceed with drone footage for $300 contingent upon being the town IT being able to link it and pass all regulations.
Based on that concept, we gotta deal. If not, then
I'll follow
I'd say no.
okay,
you with what Cody's answer is.
Okay.
I don't imagine it's. an issue.
mhm.
Do we need a second?
I need a second. Then I'll call for any more discussion. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the drone? So all the,
Just, I don't have a good sense of what's too costly and what's not costly. Does this seem like a reasonable fee for something like this?
The guy who came last year, Mark, we got, he usually charges anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a minute for his videos.
Oh, wow.
So I think this is probably in that realm of a good deal, but he's like, he films for the NFL and stuff, so
Right.
I'm sure his drone is like, you know, the end of all drones, so.
I think this would be, at least if we can actually get this and actually get it to our website, will be a good starting point to
Yep.
see whether we can proceed. It's a reasonable, I think it's reasonable for the
Price
amount of
wise.
time. If the product comes out and, you know, a lot of it is spending the time, they'll shoot several minutes
Oh,
of
yeah.
film, but then they gotta edit it down, so
Right.
that's where all the time is, to make it flow with and make it look right.
And they want to put our logo on it, which I would
Yes.
imagine will just be like
Yeah,
the land
logo
trust
right
logo right
there.
there.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So there's some work that a lot of extraneous work that goes
Right.
behind the scenes too. On
Yeah.
this.
I'd stick with that one.
I think Mark said he does like 1 or 2 hours of video of recording to get like 3 to 5 minute,
Yeah.
you know, but he works for the Blackstone Valley tourism as well, so he, you know,
Okay.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing.
he does, he had really cool drone.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any more discussion? All right, I'll call a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So voted. All right, so we will proceed contingent upon town looking at the project.
Okay,
Continue.
all right, Joe, we're all set.
Yep.
We'll do the information packet. Handouts and pamphlets, I'll do sign-in sheet. What you're gonna do.
Yep.
Okay, so my name's over that. Feedback sheet, we decided we were not doing one this year, as I understand it, okay? Land trust days activity is done, the state did their thing. Press release.
3 weeks in advance,
Yep.
so next, the end of next week, I'll be sending out the invitation.
Okay, so invitations is also, all right. Posters, and so that's me, I'll get the cardboard this coming weekend. And Roy, we just did drones, so that's all set. Donations are all set, refreshments, oh, it's you again.
Yep,
And
Well-
it's also Linda.
yep.
Mhm. So according to my notes, I have to bring ice, a cooler and. Let's see,
Yeah, bags of ice.
ice, cooler and water. Is that?
Are you gonna bring
correct?
water? Okay,
Mhm.
yep.
Okay,
Now
how
you-
much water should I bring?
If you-
I'm bringing ice cool water also,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
So what do we figure is 2 cases? I don't know, does it sound right?
that should be adequate.
Yeah,
So I'll bring, 20 pounds of ice and case of water, the cool.
All right, Linda?
mhm.
I'll do the same.
Okay,
Good.
Mm.
that takes care of that. All right, now first aid kit, Roy?
Yep.
You're all set?
Yep, I have it.
Bags of ice, that's Linda, Jack, and Roy. Tick spray, that's me. Bob up 10 is you. When do we want to meet to get that stuff? Well, we can. we
Well,
got- we
you and
got
I
time.
will coordinate
Yeah,
that.
that's all, all right.
Yeah.
Tables, napkins and paper towel, I'll do. Ice checks, okay, Roy and Jack and
Yep.
Linda. Chairs is Glenn. Portable John,
We ordered.
okay. Signage, that's me. Okay, no, that's towel. Setup, how we,
8:30.
8:30, we're gonna meet at the main lot, be down there by 8:45, 9 o'clock to start setting up. That
Well-
makes sense?
Well, we'll have stuff in our cars. We may have to
Leave one
unload.
person at
Yeah.
the site and drop off all the
Yeah.
supplies
Yeah.
and then shuttle the cars down, but one person stays with the supplies and then everyone comes
Okay.
back.
So in other words, go to the site, drop off.
Any supplies, your cooler, your bags of ice and water. We'll leave one person on site. And then go park cars. And shuttle
Sure.
back.
Well, we probably want the tables since when they start to drop things off, maybe, I guess, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna throw everything in your car like we've
Right.
done the last
Yeah,
time, and you're
last
gonna
time.
unload your car
Down at the site.
at the site and then go park.
All right,
Okay, so be at the site at 8:30 and then return to,
Yeah, drop your stuff. Let's make it 8:30 meet, drop our stuff off, and then at that point, we can coordinate shuttling our cars down. So I think 8:30 probably at Phillips Hill Road at the entrance to Cellar Hall to unload supplies, because we'll take a couple people to unload the various things.
Right.
And then move your cars down the parking. So let's do it that way. That works better.
all right, so we're basically gonna meet at the site.
At the site,
Right.
Yep.
8:30.
Okay. Okay, kind of thinking ahead. Portable John. Based on parking. Where do you think we might put the tables? More towards where you start to go to the trailhead in that little corner there?
Mhm.
So we went to Portable John.
Down the park.
Right on the corner.
How about on the road? No, down, I was thinking it'd go all the way down the far end.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So. Any other comments? Because this is pretty much it, I guess. Everybody got their assignments,
yep.
time, place and date. So I'm done. I'll send my kids.
Okay,
Basically, we just, to put out the state.
Oh. Okay.
does anyone else have any feedback for land trust days for this year? Okay, and I think Dennis, I thank you again for being our coordinator and keeper of records. That's good that you have a format that will flows with us, so I appreciate, really appreciate that. Keeping
It's
us
all
straight.
teamwork. We're one big team.
Mhm.
All right. We added on our agenda to schedule some work sessions with the various projects that we want to get involved with. One was the Rhode Island Nursery Landscaping Group that met with us last meeting.
Mhm.
And we said that we could put together a little work session to go over some of their ideas, some opportunities and things. We didn't want to type a full regular meeting, so Rory, I'll let you, based on your schedule, I'm not sure, I've got a pretty hectic schedule, so obviously we don't all have to be at the work section just to get things rolling, so you want to set a date and reach out to them or give a couple of dates that work for, and people can raise their hand if they want to attend that particular work
I-
session.
Did invite Shannon Mason to come to the Land Trust Days, so I thought that might be an opportunity for us to meet and come up with some days to meet, because I know their schedules are equally hectic. So if we want to do that, that might be our best.
All right, because we have a meeting, a land trust meeting after the the Tuesday after the 20, is it the 20th again or the 20th? Yeah.
So the September meeting will be on
20th, right?
Yeah.
We have the
I
calendar
may
right here.
not be
September is the
there, but they
20th.
may be
Yep.
going away that week.
It's the 20th.
Okay, so on the 20th, we'll, after they, you can reach out and get some dates
Yep.
or if they're there. So we'll schedule based on what their availability will be. Whipple Conservation Area work session for trail map of Whipple Conservation Area. We wanted to do, I guess everybody wanted the opportunity to say, let's have a work session and walk around that place, which has a lot of trails and opportunities for us, so. I'm gonna, since Lynn is the most important person
That's right.
on this, because I'll walk around and he won't like my sketches. So if you want to pick a time that works for you, and then people can jump on board, and I think part of it, we were discussing what would make sense for a trail, you know, markings, layouts and mapping and
Can I ask one question?
Yep.
When, you might know more than anyone else, when that was first bought, looking at the map, these seem to be all maybe, I don't know if it's the right word or the wrong word, personal trails that people might have did on their own and walked them through the years and,
Well, I suspect it does get a lot of traffic, that property. And I suspect that people have created some of those trails. So, but there's a whole web of them.
but it's like a sense of ownership in a way. Meaning they feel that, I won't say they own it because they don't, but it's like their little
There is definitely a sense of ownership
okay,
there.
there it is.
So we shouldn't
Um,
disrupt them.
Right, you hit that
Well, and they're
right.
very, very well established already.
Yeah.
I mean, none of
Yeah.
those trails I walked were like in any way through the brush.
It's nice.
So I think, you know, the better thing is just to figure out what to show on a map. So if someone came from not from the area, didn't know where this thing or that thing, we have something that we can give them on the kiosk or whatever, saying, here's the property and this is the marked routes that go around the property.
Right.
But there are some other things, if you wander off on your own trail, well, that's not.
Right.
Right.
So I think we want to probably choose the trails that we would suggest if you were going to bring a friend. How would you want to walk the property? We're not going to do all the zigzags and the other things. What would be the best bang for the buck? And that's what we mark out and say that.
Okay.
And mark as our suggested.
Okay, you'd have to actually walk these things together.
I think that's what the plan of the work session was, to
Mhm.
try and come up with
Yeah. Have you been there?
We've been there a lot because
How many years?
since I joined the land trust,
Oh, recently,
yeah.
okay,
So, because I don't even think I knew it was there, but I never really was aware of it. Bob and I did a perimeter walk that we showed Lynn that we walk on a regular basis because it's about 2 miles, and that's what we're trying
Yeah,
to do
good.
as our personal goal for the day.
That's also a very good goal for,
Yeah.
that's a nice hike. Yeah.
And so I think Lynn has, do you have that marked? Because that's the
It's-
original
it's-
one we showed.
It's
you.
not,
Do you need to see this?
yeah. I mean, it's mapped, but,
Right,
it's basically the perimeter trail
right,
that goes all the way around the water and comes back
Mm.
up around.
yeah,
So it's the outermost trail on this map would be the
Right.
perimeter trail. All these internal ones are, again, very well established pathways that I found just going back and walking it on my own.
right,
So I think what we need to do in the work session really is come up with a strategy about how to mark the perimeter trail, if that's what we want to do, and make it a color, if we're going to stick with colors, or, some combination of dots, triangles, dashes to distinguish these individual trails. That is also not, that is in addition to being distinguishable on the map, is distinguishable by markings on the trees or
right,
however we're going to do
Mhm.
that. Because it is kind of, once you get in the middle here, it can be a little confusing as to which way
Yeah,
you're
Right.
going. So it will be very important to have them clearly marked, both on the map and on the trail itself.
So I think a good goal, and whether we set the Whipple property is 2023,
Activity.
activities, land trust activities, establishing the perimeter trail and figuring out how to mark it and make sure, then walk some of this other stuff out, but I think that, we want to get a primary trail that we, like I say, I think what is important is if you're bringing somebody that's not from right here or doesn't know the area, what would you want to show them? I would probably want to walk that.
Okay, based on what you said, I
Yeah.
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
So if we focus on that, and then from there, we can, in the future, we can add in and say, well, this makes sense as a cutoff trail if you want a shorter route, instead of
Mhm.
doing the whole, and I don't know what, you said it was almost
almost
2 miles.
two
just
miles
about 2
or,
miles.
so if you only wanted to do a mile hike, like a lot of people are only doing a mile, and this is you can still get a bang for the buck going this or whatever, so. So again, I think Lynn and whoever that wants to be part of this need to, our goal was to set a date for a work session for just this, and I know we're pretty busy between now and September's land trust day, so this can be further down, or we can just continue it and wait until our next meeting and then set a date.
I
Because
got a
we got a lot-
calendar here if we want to try to come
Why
up
don't
with a date. Or do you want to?
I'm gonna be away at some point in later October, but how do you usually set up meetings? I'm used to using Survey Monkey. Like to do a poll among everybody to do.
I think
find
what's
out what
important
things
is
work.
you set, we generally is give 3 options that will really work for
Okay.
you, and then where we get the most from,
Okay,
we all know we're not all gonna be able to make,
Right.
Yep.
but I think it's important since you're the map guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I think also Dennis and Jack are important for, they're our eyes on marking the trails, and so
okay.
it's important that I'm not sure whether I'll be able to make it, but I definitely want to walk the property, but.
So shall I send those 3 date options to Gail or?
Yeah,
to
send
you,
us
or
in,
then-
well, if you have 3 date options, and let's say at the next meeting, we're gonna finalize
Okay.
that, we'll just keep this on the agenda again, we'll
Okay.
schedule work session. So bring your 3 date options, you can send them to Gail so she can actually
Put them on the.
put them on the notes, so people can
Right.
start looking on their calendar the minute she sends out the.
Okay,
Can I impose on your good nature? You basically outline a bullet plan. On your discussion on the
okay,
outlines,
yeah.
can you just do a bullet outline?
Mhm.
And Whipple comes out at the parentheses on the greenway.
have some kind of action
Shortcuts. I don't know
That
how
makes sense to do.
that works
Sure.
here for somebody who doesn't want to do a whole,
Right,
does it?
Yeah, it does come
Would
out
that
that
work?
near there. I mean, that's an option. We can. That's one of the things you can show is that it does connect with the greenway at a certain point, but then you have to walk back to your car anyway. So I don't know whether that's necessarily
Any
a
ideas, would be
shortcut.
nice. Any ideas is worth talking about.
Right. So, but I think there is a great deal of ownership in the people who use that park, but,
Mm.
or that piece of property, but it's in a good way.
Right.
They
Yeah.
are maintaining it. They are
Mhm.
keeping it clean. They are, there is some stuff that we find when we walk, but very considering the
amazed
traffic.
By how clean it was.
I
Yeah,
showed,
that's right in the center of
Proximity,
town too,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the
I showed that
proximity
map to a
City
friend,
Walk.
and he's the one that said, there's a lot of ownership here.
Hmm.
That's,
So that's good.
that's the first thing that came out of his
That
mouth.
people are willing to take
Yeah.
help. Keep.
No,
take
that's
care
a
of
good
it.
thing. I'm not,
Great
that's why,
thing,
that's a
right.
good thing. And if we can enhance that by the outside trip,
Yeah.
which I
Right.
didn't read that close on the map, to be honest, that would be a nice goal.
Exactly, yeah, and one of the things we do is we often go to All Trails, which is
Mm.
an app to find places to walk and stuff like that. And we did find complaints on All Trails that the trails are not marked.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
See?
take care of, see,
See?
we will take care of that, but that is, that's why I'm thinking we're gonna take the best one, get that one done, and then that can be as Dennis would say, a WIP, a work in
Yeah.
progress, but if we
Right.
get the main one, and I think it's an ideal spot for 2023,
Land trust.
Land Trust Days.
Yeah.
Because it is a nice area, and I don't think a lot of people really realize
That it's there.
that it's there, because it's sort of hidden as you're driving, because you're focused at the stoplight and, traffic and everything, but then
Mhm.
right in there is a little hidden gem.
Yeah, you can
Oh.
also access it from Sandy Bottom.
Right.
Right.
And right now, that's all under construction
right up
there, and
there.
that's a mess, but once
There's a
that,
parking lot there.
yeah, there is a
an
parking
entrance
lot.
in there.
If you,
Can I
if,
keep this? Because you have them, right?
once that is not under construction, that's almost a better access
Right,
for
it
it,
is 'cause it's got
because
much more
the
parking.
one that's right by the trestle trail is a little tricky.
It's very hard to get into.
Yeah, it's hard to get
see,
into, hard to see.
into.
So that one, that would be, it's not ours, it's actually, the town's property, but.
But I think that's where, and as we get further into some of these things, we've got to reach out with Parks and Recreation and town management to make sure we're not overstepping our bounds, but we've got an active group that thinks that we're promoting these properties and doing a lot of work on hand, and I know they already have a lot of stuff on their docket. But these other access potential points, from Sand Bottom Road and that, what can be done with signage and stuff. I mean, this is all good stuff for the town of Coventry to promote.
Yep.
Recreation and outdoors, that we have a lot of stuff here that a lot of people don't know about, so I think.
That's why we gotta get it
everything's
market advertised, get it on our website.
Yeah.
Do the trails of the property. We know they have trails, so they can be used right off the bat.
Okay.
Well, I think this mapping stuff and
Oh,
this
yeah.
is just gonna be leaps and bounds moving us forward, and I
And
think.
we have our own personal mapping.
Yeah.
Oh, we had to go out and big and.
Well, I
steal.
think, one of the things, and I know
And I
Donna,
have to steal, I'm available
the
for free.
director of the planning department has to report to the council on things being done and the different activities from the different groups, and just these formatted things to give, this is what they're working on these trails and stuff, gives us a lot of promo that, the land trust is active. That's the most tangible thing that you can pass out to a council member or say, yeah, they're doing good stuff there. So that's good work.
There's one other thing I'd like to bring up about the Whipple property, and that's the Hope Meadows. So apparently there's
Yeah.
some history. So I would like to be able to document that history and then have a sign or something, because I think that's important to document something like that. Yesterday I was in Portsmouth getting a private tour of Butts Hill Fort,
Mhm.
and by a very enthusiastic volunteer for their preservation society. And I was thinking that you know, here's a piece of history from the town that we
Right,
can
right here.
also highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to proceed with that, I think that's a good idea. I think that'd be very valuable to put that, get the history of Hope Meadow and Nathaniel Green and the training and all the activities that, you know, as much as what we can find. And that can also go in a trail kiosk and then a signage point for that area on the property. Yeah, absolutely. I think that history is another big tie-in
Right.
for,
Might
Right.
work up to an
That perimeter
interpretive
trail
sign.
goes right through
Yeah,
that meadow.
okay,
So it would be a nice place for
Place.
people to stop and say, okay, you know, here's a history lesson.
Yeah, and there's already benches there.
Mhm.
That
Great.
people have installed, you know, kind of like they've laid out these blocks, so. Yeah,
good. All right. I think that's very important. All right, the last work session was walk of Bowden property for GIS mapping. Again, our resident mapper is in charge.
Right, so do you want me to talk about the status of that
Uh,
now? or-
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll pass this on.
And give us where we're at and what we need to do.
So. I didn't print it in colors, sorry. I didn't print it in color this time
No.
because, you know, yeah, it's not done yet. But this is what I have, marked up. And it'll, you know, be very much the same colors and so forth as the others.
Thank you.
And so, you know, just first draft, it doesn't have a legend or anything because we haven't walked it yet. So that's the next step is to get out there
Mhm.
and I know Dennis and I talked about getting out there. He was away for a while and it was so hot. There was just no way we were gonna get out there, but I can set up a time and date that date's available and I'm gonna be able to walk this
Mhm.
with the GPS and get those on there. So
Good.
yeah, it's in draft form. All we need to do is get the trails and any other significant features out there, scenic views or
Well, when we,
trouble spots and things like that.
some of that's identified already, but when we walk it, we can verify it again. You know what I'm saying? It's,
Yeah, this is probably what, a few 2021, so
that was,
you know.
yeah, 2021.
But yeah, and in the trails that I do with the GPS will probably be a lot different than this in sense of smoothing it out and
Mhm.
so forth, so.
Good.
But if there's a place that's, you know, we want to highlight as being quote dangerous, I can make that red or mark it like this with
Yeah.
a spot.
Difficult area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going through those stones there is a little
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. So.
So once I have the GPS version of the trails, then I will give you a new draft and then you folks can mark it up and say, no, we want this one to be marked from this segment to this segment as being dangerous area or, you know, river crossing, boardwalk, whatever. So,
Right, I don't think we have this, you schedule a work session for that because you can continue the way you're working. I think the one that we definitely want to do is the Whipple one though, because there's a lot of discussion points of stuff and then, you know, we can't vote in a work session. We'll bring it back to if there's anything that does need voting on, but so that I think you can just proceed as when you get time and work with Dennis and or Jack. The other thing that we do need to do some trail maintenance at some point, I'm sure, on that other trail. And we'll just, you know, be very aware that we're at that point where these gypsy moth oak trees are falling now.
Yeah.
I saw one took down the power lines on Perry Hill Road the other day. So they're at that range at 4 years from 4 years ago when we had that. And the ants have finally cored out the center of them in there.
Get ready to go.
And there was no wind or anything that
Oh,
night. It just,
wow.
and it was a big one. It was big enough to,
That's why the ones in the front So I had, what's his name, cut them all down.
Yeah.
Because they were
And that-
very rotten.
So that's the other thing, when we're walking these trails, we need to identify those trees that, you know, are potentially dead and hazards that, you know, that we have to say we want to get them, you know, dropped quickly. So it doesn't block our trail unexpectedly or doesn't fall, you know, in a
Well,
wind.
I've done that, some of that already.
Yeah.
This year, but
Yeah.
Not all of
not,
them.
not all. the
No, I know,
trees.
and that's just
Yeah.
when you're walking, if you see something, mark it, you know, let us know so we can tackle it. You know, if it looks like it's gonna be a hazard that's gonna block our trail, then that just, you know, we don't want our trails blocked. We'd rather be proactive when we're out there if we see something that is,
I like
especially
this-
at the boating
oh, I'm sorry.
property. No, I'm done.
I just like a gentleman walked us in 2020 after we had our land trust days. You could just pass them around. And it just gives you his comments on when he walked the trail himself. And he used the GIS. The maps on the second page that he did. So. We're out there, people have been coming, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
good, yep.
So.
So I'll, I guess I'll make it a task for myself to get in touch with Dennis and Jack about a day when we can go out. and do-
Yeah.
I would do this one by myself, but I don't totally feel comfortable.
No, I think
out there.
I think Jack and Dennis are, again, they did a lot of work on the trails and they can give you the comments too, because they've got the best history of
Yeah.
what we did and why we did and.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a couple spots, the other thing to finally figure out how we're gonna just do that little, whether it's step stumps or stones or whatever, you know, right now the stream is completely dry there, but you know, during wet season, maybe next spring, we need to take a walk around in there and just see, you know, what.
Yeah.
So we plop this, you know, one stone that people can just,
I think
So-
the stone's a better idea.
I think so too, because they last a lot longer than we
Right, the
do.
problem is how you get it.
Yeah.
There's still stones here from 20,000 years ago, right? So, yeah, I think that's just finding a solution. That was one of our technical challenges in the wet season, whether it's two stones that are just sitting just right, flat level
Yeah.
ones. There's plenty of stones there for us just to, you know, get a couple of volunteers and
Big volunteers.
big volunteers. But I think that's the solution,
Right.
instead of having wood that rots and all
The
that
wood
other
would
stuff,
rot.
just and it wasn't much, it wouldn't need to be much, it'd be just a couple placements.
I've seen them where they have you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
you know?
But I thought someone said if you start using wood and you make it yourself, so to speak, you have to get approval from DEM. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you can put boulders there in that area, you don't have to talk to DEM.
No,
Okay.
no, I think we're just gonna have a couple carefully positioned stepstones. They may already be there, I didn't spend enough time to go look around, but that, you know, that's something that we've got to plot, that
Yeah.
crossing. But that's something to work on.
When was the last time we walked the weight trail?
Oh, gotta be a couple of years.
I was gonna say, I don't know what when it was, and I'm sure there's probably some structures.
We were trying to do the other trails that, land trust days and everything else. I mean, it's. You know.
Yeah, so-
We have enough work that you
Right.
could probably get 10 people. And keep them busy for a week.
Right.
For a week, you
Yeah.
can keep them busy.
Well, I know, and I think, I fear what Jack fears is that the White Trail probably has a few more trees down
Right.
across it than,
Mm,
but so. You know, do what you guys can, and then we'll come back with at each of these meetings is just discuss and then make it a priority that. It's also easier when all the leaves are off the trees. If we do have to cut something up or whatever, it's a lot easier to cut when there's no other,
There is an abundance of oak in that area,
yeah,
so.
that a lot of oak. That's my fear, is that we're gonna find some of the gypsy moth stuff on that far side too.
Mhm.
All right, so you're gonna coordinate with Dennis and Jack on that
Yep.
one. That's what, we get a good start going there. Okay. That covers that section 7 on our agenda. ongoing property information and drones, we already sort of jumped ahead there with talking on land trust day, so we got our update on that. I don't think there's anything additional. Boundary markers, I need one more, we're gonna put that, I didn't put that other one up at the entrance because I need the replacement one, so when I go tonight, we'll have that up for land trust days. I don't wanna risk it until just before land trust days. I don't wanna,
Those individuals, if they were gonna go after anything, they would have gone up the kiosk by now.
yeah, well, let's hope that they're,
And with the chain going across, they wanna get in, hopefully they use a couple wrenches instead of trying to bulldoze it out, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Well, it
No,
would be nice, is your idea, of putting a couple cameras there.
if we get into that situation, hopefully we won't.
And-
Maybe they'll see that we're a pretty innocent group,
And
you know. We're not
seems
gonna
like
be-
a bunch of people that you can't give them rules, they don't want rules. So that's why I left the kiosk kind of, friendly as much as possible. So,
Yeah, as long as, again, as long as they're not tearing the property up and
Right.
dumping,
Right.
that's
Right.
half the battle.
That's half
We don't, we'll never stop all of the ATVs, we'll never stop all the dirt bikes. They much bigger organizations have fought battles with them and they're not winning them. They're very hard to win. So I think if we play low key and keep the
Low
property and
key.
the trails maintained, that's all we want.
and if we see that we're not trying to tell them what to do, you got a 50-50 shot. So putting that sign back up could be, if it doesn't come down again, we might be home free.
Good.
Positive thinking, get you every time.
Okay. All right, do we have one more page on our agenda?
Yeah.
Page 2, page 3. It's almost done. I think it's all done. Yes. I think we talked quite a
Yep.
bit about the
Mhm.
kiosk.
So should I give these to you? folks?
Do you want to try to put them up on trees, to be honest with you? Or,
Yeah.
or maybe the legs of the kiosk? I don't,
Especially
Yeah.
the legs of the
Yeah.
kiosk might be good.
Do you want to take them?
can you give me 2? Because there's only 2 legs.
Okay.
Well, I think at each location that we have a kiosk, I want to put 2 on one kiosk. I just put one
On-
at each
Yeah.
kiosk
Yeah.
that we have.
Okay,
So,
Well, the Sullivan has nothing. You have the key.
We don't have the
for
sign up
Ledge
yet at
Road
Sullivan, right?
Sullivan?
Yeah.
we have the
Sorry, not
kiosk,
the
but there's
berry
nothing in it.
It's just it's not blood. She didn't tell anyone. Linda, what did you
Like,
do?
I know.
Oh,
where's your husband right now? Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, we bought berries that day at
Sure.
the farmer's market.
Sure.
And I noticed they're faded, what we do have, from Nancy Sullivan kiosk on Bramble Bush. Faded maps, they're fading from the sun.
Those are not my maps.
Here and there fading.
Those are not my maps.
So,
His maps don't fade.
okay.
All right, so we got 4 put on the legs, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll get,
One per kiosk.
it'll have to be a Friday, Saturday task, but this Friday and Saturday, we're booked up.
Yeah, I don't, that's something WIP, work in progress. When you have a chance, then great. Signage, Janet Sullivan sign obviously is the one that I'm thinking of, and we're still waiting on DPW for help.
How you gonna get it there? I've been thinking about it. Do I call a couple of things? I don't know if they even wanna deal with the sign because.
Well, if
Okay.
we were talking, if we could have DPW use their little backhoe to dig the holes, right? That was the last
Mhm.
discussion point. To get it down there, I would think that we could also have them come pick it up.
I haven't heard from Kevin, but if this is vacation time, then
It's, summers.
I won't even knock on the door, I guess, in September again, we'll try it.
Mm.
All right. So. Right now, I guess it's on hold, that's all, until we can.
Yeah.
I really thought would hear from him by now, but,
All right.
so, I don't know. Would this be like a Parks and Recreation maybe task?
I don't know whether they've got the resources either to to do it. I mean,
What do you think, Sarah?
I'm not sure of the equipment they have.
All right, I guess
They
we,
have some equipment down back of the community center, and I guess there's a place out on so where they've got another facility. So I've been told. Do you know more about that?
I do not.
Okay.
all right, I guess. I guess get through land trust days and then we can concentrate on this more full time.
okay,
Does that sound like a plan? All right.
yes.
Because
Okay,
I've been testing it every week, you know.
all right, let's continue. General trail system, I think we've talked a lot about what we've got to do. Do we have anything additional that we want to add tonight?
Well, just to clarify, this Friday, we're meeting at Stella Hall, right?
Yes, at
Yeah.
9:30.
9:30, okay.
We're gonna mark the trail, but we need some help, someone clearing the pathways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hand clippers.
yeah, hand clippers,
Coleslaw.
pole saw, regular little tree saw, blade thing if you have one. I think they'll be easy cutting, right, most of them?
Oh, majority of the one pine.
Oh, yeah, so that'd be easy.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Stella Hall land, or we already jumped ahead and did that. GIS mapping, we
That's done.
discussed that. Any new agenda items for September 20th that we haven't covered? I think we've got a pretty good running list here, nothing new. We will schedule, as we said, we will schedule work site visits for those 3 properties, so that will be the new agenda items to set up some site visits. All right, public comment. Do we have anybody on board with us? Not online, no online.
I volunteer to help with the voting.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice.
Thanks, Larry.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. All right. Any other business that I skipped over or didn't cover? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion is made by Dennis, seconded by Jack. Any discussion? All those in favor of adjourning at 8:03 PM, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.